going to skip a lot of the introduction because I know how annoying it is to click on a video and then wait like 7 minutes until you get to all of the juicy detail of why you wanted to come to this video in the first place. So just a quick run through for everyone that doesn't know. My name is Kaitlyn, and I have Hodgkins lymphoma, which is a type of cancer. Now, a lot of people ask, Hodgkins, they don't really know Hodgkins lymphoma. They think that's just like a flu or something until I'm like, no, it's cancer. So basically what Hodgkins lymphoma is it's cancer of the lymphatic system. Your lymphatic system helps fight off diseases and flus and everything. So, whenever you get sick, your lymph nodes swell up because they are producing white blood cells called lymphocytes to help protect and fight against whatever bad is in your body. So, with that being said, my certain condition is called large B-cell Hodgkin's lymphoma. Now, there are two different types of lymphocytes in your lymph nodes. There are B cells and then there are T cells. The B cells, I'm sorry, I'm looking right here just for notes and everything, I'm so sorry. The B cells are, they make proteins called antibodies, again, which help fight off infection and everything. And how it becomes cancerous is they grow rapidly, out of control, which is why, I have a very, very large neck, as you can see. That causes me to look like I have a very prominent double chin, which I am not happy about, but hey, gotta live with it. So, now, Hodgkin's lymphoma is actually, it can be considered a cancer of the blood if it progresses that far. There are different stages of it. The staging depends on where the cancer is. Me personally, it's still very early on. I haven't even started treatment yet, so I don't know what stage I am. Hopefully by the time I get a PET scan and everything, they will be able to tell what stage I am. Now with the staging, if it's just in like one general area, that's usually like stage 1. If stage 2, if it is in one general area and on another side of the body, I think, that's stage 2. Don't hold me against it. I forgot. It's a lot of information for me to retain within the short amount of time that I have learned about this. Stage 3, I do believe, is in 2 different parts of your body and also in your chest. Usually whenever it is in your chest, it is behind your breastbone. So you have this bone right here, your sternum. It will be the lymph nodes will be swollen below it, and so below your breastbone, the lymph nodes will be enlarged and everything, kind of like how they are in my neck. Which my doctor did tell me that I had enlarged lymph nodes in my neck and also my chest, but I don't want to, make any assumptions or, stage myself. That's for the professionals. I obviously am not a professional. I'm not really good at anything. So, let me see here. Other things that it can affect other than your lymph nodes. It can affect your spleen, your liver, your lymph vessels, which basically are like the connectors of all your lymph nodes. Like these right here have vessels down to the ones in your groin area and so on and so forth. They can affect your bone marrow, which can cause you to have a stem cell transplant where basically they put healthy cells into your bone marrow to help produce, more healthy cells to fight off those cancerous cells. I don't really have a lot of information on large B-cell Hodgkin's lymphoma, even though Hodgkin's lymphoma is a common type of cancer. The kind that I have, I do believe, is kind of rare because I can't really find any information on it. I can only find information for B-cell non-Hodgkins, which I do not have non-Hodgkins. It is Hodgkins. Let me see here. I do have some questions and everything that everyone has been so kind to ask me and everything, but before I get into that, I will go into the story of how I found out. Now, about maybe, I would say 5 months ago or so, I was doing some yoga and just trying to act like I have my life together and everything. So the closest thing I thought that I could do was yoga. So I was doing some yoga, and I lifted my arms above my head, and whenever I did so, I felt like there was pressure against my throat, and it was hard for me to breathe. So I just thought that it was because I had gained weight. Me and Zach, we've been together for almost 5 years. And honestly, everyone knows how it is. You get the comfort weight, you go on many adventures together. Unfortunately, all of our adventures ended up 3 a.m. at a drive-thru. So I just thought it was because I had gained weight. So me, being the hypochondriac that I am and everything, I kept on telling Zach, I need to get into the doctor, and everything, and my life is just always so busy, and I'm always constantly doing something, or I constantly have to do something, that I just kind of put it off to the side, because it's like, it's not affecting me that much. Yeah, it's uncomfortable, but I'm just going to deal with it. And I wish that I didn't not do that. So finally I get into the doctor, and my primary doctor, my family doctor, he's awesome. He is very nice. He's very soft-spoken, but he's also very blunt. He gets to the point, and he tells me what I need to do. So he takes a look at my neck, and he takes a look at my neck and starts to feel around and everything. And I told him, I was having all the symptoms and all the signs of, like an underactive thyroid. The swelling, the weight gain, the fatigue, just everything. So, and thyroid problems run in my family. So I was like, it's probably a thyroid issue. So he had me go and get a PET scan, not a PET scan, my bad, get a CAT scan done. And also he had me get a ultrasound done. So we get all those done and everything. And he tells me before I go to get those tests done, that I'll probably have to have it removed. Instantly, me being a crybaby, I start to cry because surgery scares me. I've never been through surgery before or anything, and it's just, again, it scares me. It's a scary thought of someone digging in my neck, So after all the scans and everything, they called me back into the office about maybe a week or so later to talk about my results, and it was just me and Zach that went. And we walked in, and my doctor immediately told me, he was like, we got your tests back and everything. He was like, all your blood tests came back good, there's nothing wrong, your thyroid is perfectly healthy, perfect, like just good functioning and everything. So I was like, okay, that's awesome, but what's wrong with me? Why do I feel this way? And at first, whenever he was explaining it, he said it was Hodgkins lymphoma. Now I thought he said lipoma, which a lipoma basically is like a mass of fat that's easily, Dr. Pimple Popper, shout out to her. You can just cut someone open, remove it, sew it up, you'll be fine. That's what a lipoma is. I'm pretty sure I'm saying it correctly. But I said, oh, it's a lipoma. And he said, no, it's lymphoma. And I kind of just sat there because I didn't know what it was. And he looked at me and he said that it's cancer. And at that moment, it was like there was immediately just 1,000 things running through my head at that moment. And I didn't know what to do. And usually, if I don't know what to do, I look at Zach just to see, what he's thinking. And I looked at him, and he said, he was like, we don't have kids yet. Except for my kids back there. And that really got to me whenever he said that. But I didn't cry the whole time that he told me I had cancer. I cried whenever he told me that I was going to have surgery, but not that I had cancer, which kind of tells you what kind of person I am. I'm really freaking weird, I guess. So immediately after all of that, we just went out to the car and we started talking, and immediately I called my mom to let her know what was going on. And I was mad about this at the time, but then I realized that there were so many contributing factors that there was no reason for me to be mad. Now, I talked to my mom. I did not tell her that I did not want her to tell anybody. I wanted to be the person to tell every one of my family members, all my friends, and everything, because it still wasn't sincere. I had just a little bit of hope that it was something different, just the slightest bit of hope, and I didn't want to make anyone scared. I didn't want to, I just didn't want anyone to be worried about me. So I did not tell my mom, and I'm not putting the blame on her by any means. I've already talked to her about how I felt, and she, apologized and everything like that, but this just goes on with the story and stuff. So this just goes on with the story and everything. I did not tell my mom that I did not want anyone to know, so my mom called my mom called everyone else, and then I had just an overwhelming amount of people messaging me and talking to me and everything, trying to, console me, and it was a lot at the time. And so I was mad, excuse my language, but I was pissed. This was something that I had no control over, getting cancer. It was just a very spontaneous, just out of the blue thing to happen, that it wasn't my fault, and it was out of my control. And then telling everyone that I had cancer was something that I could control, and I wanted to do. So after that, I explained to my family, why I felt the way that I did and everything, and, everything's good. There's no bad blood between any of me or my family members. There's, again, no one's mad at anybody, Now we're just kind of dealing with it. Stop. Now we're just kind of dealing with it at this point. So from the time that I found out that it might be cancer, my doctor scheduled a biopsy with an ear, throat, and nose specialist with my other doctor, which he's awesome. He's very blunt, very nice. He helps explain things to me, and which is not easy. So from there, he wanted to do a biopsy. The first biopsy that I had gotten done on my neck was called a needle aspiration. Basically, they just stick a thin needle in, and they don't inject you with anything, but they get a sample of your blood and also small tissue samples too. Now, sometimes that's not enough tissue to diagnose you with, which happened in my case. And also, they had to stick a scope down my nose and into my throat, and that was bad. I told my doctor, I was like, I'll tell you what, I will let you stick me with that needle 100 times. Just do not stick that thing down my nose again. And it was just, oh gosh, it was horrible. It reminded me of whenever me and my brothers were kids, and they used to slurp a spaghetti noodle up their nose and then pull it out of their mouth. It would make my mom throw up. I, at the time, thought it was pretty cool, but now that I went through that, no. Oh God, no. So, after my first biopsy, they said that they didn't have enough tissue to make a full diagnosis yet. And, sorry, my computer keeps on clicking off. They didn't have enough tissue to make a full diagnosis yet. And with my doctor, he wanted to be 100% set in stone, sure of what it was, because I was so distraught about it. So they did a surgical biopsy, which is why I have that scar right there. It's actually healing very well, but it was the first surgery that I've ever gone through. I was scared, but it was a good experience. It honestly was. They took me back to the room, they put the mask on, and within like a couple seconds I was out and I woke up. The lady asked me if I wanted some apple juice. I was like, heck yeah, I want some apple juice. So, before my surgery though, a lot of my family came. It was, me, obviously. I mean, my mama was there with me, and then my fiance Zach, my mom, and Zach's parents, and also my dad. Whenever it was just me and my mama in the room, my doctor came in and disclosed with me that it indeed was cancer. And I just kind of sat there, and was like, okay, that's fine. Just kind of pretending like I was gonna be okay. And then all my family came, Zach, his parents, my dad, everybody, and I disclosed that information with them. And it was hard to see everyone's reaction. It really was, especially the reaction on just not a specific person, just everyone's face, because it was like, I'm only 20 and I'm going through this, why? Like what bad have I done in my life to, kind of deserve to go through this and everything, I would say. So after my biopsy, I woke up, the lady told me, she's like, well, I don't know, sweetie, we'll see about Taco Bell. And I was like, who's talking about Taco Bell? And she was like, honey, ever since we woke you up, you've been talking about it like 4 times. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, like I didn't know. So my biopsy went good. I had to rest a couple of days after I had gotten that done and everything, because it hurt. It was an open incision. So after my biopsy, I kind of had to wait for kind of the go ahead to for my biopsy scar to heal a little bit, and also for me to talk to the cancer specialist at the ear, throat, and nose, which she's awesome too. She's very nice. Everyone there at the clinic, they love me, and I'm not just saying that. They do. They're very good people. All the doctors, all the nurses that I've encountered, they have been just nothing less of great, helping take care of me, explaining everything to me, and just overall awesome, and just very, very polite, very helpful, and just everything that I could have asked for going through this. So I had to wait until I could get in to see my chemotherapist and everything, and this is actually the most recent events that have happened. So my chemotherapist, he's very short, he's foreign, and he reminds me a lot of the doctor off of My 600-Pound Life, the one that tells everyone you could have easily lost 30 pounds this month. Like he reminds me of him. But he's amazing as well. Very nice, very blunt, it's very informative as well. So I went to go and talk to him, and it was Zach and my mom who went with me. So we're sitting there, and I didn't think that I would have to get anything major done that day, but he was telling us about all the information about my chemotherapy that I'm going to be going through. I have stacks of just every form of medication that's in my chemo, just a lot of stuff. So I didn't think that I was going to have to do anything big that day, but my doctor was pushing to get everything done as quickly as possible, which that kind of concerns me a little bit, but also, it's whatever, I want things to progress quickly so I can get over this. So my doctor wanted to go ahead and do a bone marrow biopsy, and if no one knows what a bone marrow biopsy is, then a bone marrow biopsy is where they actually get a sample of your bone marrow through your hip bone. Now, they do numb you. they numb the general area and around the bone, but they cannot numb inside the bone. And whenever I tell you guys, it was by far the worst pain that I have ever experienced in my life. And I've broken my ankle, and I would do that 100 times over than to get a biopsy of my bone marrow again. It was horrible. It was, again, the worst pain I've ever felt in my entire life. I was having multiple panic attacks whenever it happened. It just was not a fun time. I did not enjoy it. So 1 out of 10 would not recommend. I would much rather drink shattered glass with battery acid than to get a bone marrow biopsy again. Let me see here. So moving forward, we have the bone marrow biopsy. We have the bone marrow biopsy out of the way. So hopefully I won't have to go through that again. Not only do we have that done, but we have about a lot of scans to get done and everything. Tomorrow, which would be Monday, we have my consultation. We have my consultation with my surgeon, who is going to be installing a chemo tube right underneath my collarbone right here, because if you do chemo through an IV, that will potentially mess up your vein, corrupt your vein, and we don't want any of that. So they're going to be installing it's not really a tube, I think it's more of a, stop, 1, 2, 3. It's not really a tube, it's more of a port, really. So they're going to be installing that right there, so I will have that to get my chemo through and everything. So Tuesday is whenever, again, I get my port. Wednesday is kind of up in the air. I might have to get my my PET scan. I might have to get a, what's it called? It's called a MUGA scan, I think. And then an echo scan, which are kind of like tests for my heart, and then a test for my lungs and everything, because the swelling is actually so bad that my trachea is deviated, which means it's all the way over here, about 2 centimeters. Like, it's supposed to go right down here, but it's over here. So that does cause me to have shortness of breath, and sometimes I need to stop talking and catch my breath sometimes, because unfortunately I do talk. So I do, talk fast. So unfortunately for me, I have to constantly stop and catch my breath and everything. Unfortunate circumstance about me. Okay, so some questions that I didn't go over and everything in this video, mostly just because I still don't feel well. This is a massive amount of makeup on my face to hide the fact that I am just so physically exhausted, so mentally exhausted, that I wanted to at least, put this up and let everyone know what's going on with me, and also to kind of start the process of me seeing, how far I've came as far as this whole journey. So on my laptop that I keep on looking at, I do have some questions that people have asked me, some reoccurring questions that I get and everything. So how has this affected my daily routine, and how have I changed my routine? Like I was saying, I can't really be as active as I usually am. Sometimes I can't even go to work, because with my job, it's a lot of physical strength. I have to, constantly lift TVs up. I have to lift, just a lot of stuff up, generally, like, talk to the public and everything, work with the public. It takes a lot out of me, I'm constantly standing, and that's very strenuous for me as well. I'm exhausted 100% of the time. Sometimes I have my good days, sometimes I have my bad days. Unfortunately, this is one of my bad days. The swelling of my neck, it causes me not to be able to breathe well. I have to lay a certain way to be able to breathe decently and everything. I just get very, very exhausted, very fatigued. I sleep constantly. What else? I am thirsty 100% of the time. I'm actually getting cotton mouth right now just talking and stuff. So, let me see here. How have I been treated since I found out? It's been really weird, because it's like, if you look at me, you would never know what was going on with me, mostly because, I mean, I don't want this to sound bad, but I don't look like a traditional cancer patient, I would say. You know, I still have all my hair, still have eyebrows, my eyelashes, you know. You know, on my good days, whenever you catch me out, I'm still, you know, acting normal, performing normally and everything. So everyone's treatment towards me hasn't really changed. It's more of a perspective from my view. It's like I'm watching other people go about their daily lives, and for me, it's like I'm kind of like in a third person view. It's like I know, like, I'm watching myself interact with all these people, and they have no idea, and it affects me. I don't really know how to explain it. It's just such a weird feeling that to know that I have cancer and these people don't know, you know. It's a very weird feeling. Something that keeps me going each day. You know, I'm a very firm believer, and I can't sit there and feel sorry for myself, because what good is that going to do me? Nothing. So I try not to sit here and dwell on the negative parts of this. I try to sit here and try to find the positive side of everything, because there is a positive side of everything, you know. And this is also why I kind of wanted to kind of talk to everybody and let them know that, hey, you know, having cancer, despite, you know, what kind it is, it's okay. It's okay to have your bad days. It's okay to, you know, feel sorry for yourself, because are there days where I feel sorry for myself? You know, absolutely. You know, it's just this morning, you know, at night I cry, you know, why is this happening to me? Like, I'm only 20. I haven't done anything with my life yet. I haven't, you know, I don't have kids. I don't, you know, I haven't went to college. I haven't even gotten married yet. Like, why is this happening to me? But with that mindset, you can't go into this having that kind of mindset. You have to have the mindset of not, why is this happening to me? Just the mindset of, what am I going to learn from this? And that's what's been making me very motivated to keep going. That's what's been making me very, like, positive through this whole thing, because I'm learning so much more about myself and my body that it's crazy. Like, I'm learning just how strong I really am mentally and physically. You know, I'm not gonna lie, cancer sucks, dude. It really does. Like, I just want to feel normal. I just want to feel better. But in order for me to feel better, I need to take the proper steps to get there. And with the help of, you know, everyone's support that I've gotten, thank you, by the way, my family, and then my own, you know, mental stability, I would say, which honestly isn't that great sometimes, but you know, it's all a learning experience, and I can't wait to, you know, go into remission and help other people who probably don't have the same mindset as me about this. Help them, you know, let them know that there is positives to this. I mean, it sounds stupid, but there are, you know. There's so many, you know, organizations that are very helpful. There's so many people who you can reach out to. There's so many platforms that you can put yourself on to help extend your own knowledge and your own opinions and your own advice to people. And that's what I want to do, because I don't want to sound like, you know, that girl, but, you know, it's the whole reason why I'm sitting in my room looking like an idiot recording myself, because whenever I first found out that I was diagnosed with cancer, the first thing that I did was I went on YouTube trying to find someone who was like me, trying to see, you know, what they went through, what I was going to possibly go through, and everything. And like I said, you can't really find that much stuff on it. So, hey, I mean, might as well be the first for something, you know. With that being said, thank you everyone who made it to the end of this video. I know, especially now, my voice is very annoying because, I mean, I got a lot of pressure against my throat, which alters my voice. You should ask Zach. I'm like 10 times more annoying than I have been. But again, thank you for everyone who's made it to the end of this video. I really do appreciate all the constant support and just all the love that I've received from everybody, and some people, you know, that's been really surprising. But hopefully if I feel well enough, I'll make another update video of going through chemo, and maybe I'll even record myself shaving my head if it comes down to it. So, because I really want to give myself a mullet. Alright, well, thank you guys, and hopefully I'll see you soon.